I'm Laurie Dobson, and I'm currently running as Maine's independent candidate for the U.S. Senate. 5 years ago, I wrote to the local paper and a letter to the editor, and I said something to the effect that I believe that George W. Bush is driving the world under the intoxicated influence of his power-mad buddies and their dreams of world empire. And not much has changed since that time 5 years ago, except that we're now paying the price for his failures and will be paying for a long time to come. I feel the need to do something about this after these 5 years of this do-nothing Congress, which has allowed Bush to keep us at this war, while he breaks and rewrites the laws, destroys our economy, cuts funding to state programs, devastates families, and loses us our jobs, our health, and our well-being. So on Tuesday, I came to the Kennebunkport Town offices as a town citizen to ask the selectmen to create an ordinance which would give our police the legal right and duty to take certain criminals into authority. And in this case, the criminals I wanted to be investigated for criminal activity are G.W. Bush and R.B. Cheney, the notorious alleged war criminals, who have been wanted in many places such as Japan and Germany and now in Dublin, Ireland, the entire city. I gave a statement Tuesday and declared that I will seek an indictment ordinance. I can assert after consulting with my legal counsel that I am not asking for anything illegal, improper, or impossible. And in fact, it's in keeping with the intention behind the power of citizen legislation, something we empower our citizens to do in Maine when they want to do something about their government. Whatever we don't like and think is wrong, we can bring up in town meeting and for referendum on the ballot. It's our democratic right and privilege, and it's one of the reasons I'm proud to live in this state. There are some reasons, some concerns that I believe do need to be addressed in our town in particular, and I'm asking you to help citizens like myself by creating a legal ordinance to defend us, the residents of Kennebunkport, Maine, against people who are alleged to be war criminals and who have been known to frequent our town. It's not happening on the federal level, so I believe it needs to happen here on the local level. This is something we are able to do under common law since we are being failed by our federal legislators. Congress is not dealing with the alleged war crimes of Bush or Cheney. The Congress is letting administration officials walk away from a terrible war, a crime, a war of aggression, having started with 2 wars now and with maybe even a third coming up. What I am asking is to find a way to do this ourselves, to invent the means to make an ordinance. This covers new ground because nobody has ever done this before, but it's not forbidden in any statute, and there's nothing against it. Our lawyers tell us that in theory it is legally okay. I am not a lawyer. My indictment was not drafted by lawyers. I intended it to be a summary of war crime charges that I want this town to make into an ordinance which would seek to protect the town from Mr. Bush and Cheney. They are alleged to be war criminals by putting our country into an illegal war of aggression, and by doing so, they broke national laws and international treaties. A fact that doesn't diminish over the years in many minds. I am here before you, the selectmen, to reassure people about this resolution that I'm proposing. Many have mistakenly believed that this means that we will be arresting a sitting president. This is not the case. It's not what I'm proposing. And it would take effect only if Mr. Bush was not duly impeached beforehand by the time he leaves office. And at any rate, it wouldn't take effect until he was out of office. The majority of Americans support impeachment. Right now it's at 51%. But the legal process is stymied in Washington. So at this point, it is not outrageous to call for this. And quite the contrary, I believe it is advisable and prudent and even patriotic to make sure that we defend our laws and treaties from being abused and ignored. So I hope that I've made clear that I wish for you to address A, the fact that alleged war criminals occasionally exist in our town, and B, to ask if you will assist in the lawful investigation and prosecution of them. My indictment is a notice of my intentions, so you may consider providing me with your assistance in the drafting and scheduling for a town vote of ordinances opposing war crimes and war criminals. Thank you. And now I do have questions for you, but I think this is a lot to consider, for a town to consider, and I do acknowledge that. So I gave each of you copies of what questions I do have at this time, and I would say that if you were going to be bringing this up later tonight, that I would ask that you postpone it after giving these questions some thought. But if you are going to bring it up and raise it, I'm prepared to talk to them now and to discuss them with you. But I would like to pose them to you myself, as opposed to reading them, so that people understand what they are. So it would be up to you if you wish that I would ask you these questions here and now.
Now, why don't we take it one step at a time, and let's see if the board even wants to further with this, with your suggestion here. Is there a majority of the board that wants to move forward with this?
No, I don't want to.
I don't care to.
No, me neither.
I don't feel it's within our authority to do that.
Ms. Dobson, I appreciate you bringing it forward, but I don't think it's going to go any further at this point.
Well, under common law, it will be able to, and you do need to, you can't reject it out of hand. There are legal provisions, and your town attorney will advise you of that. I hope she does, and I hope that you will take that under advisement. At any rate, I will be proceeding with or without your help in terms of getting petitions forward for the June warrant. I just want you to know that I will proceed that way either way.
Just as long as you follow the guidelines that we've set forward for.
I will follow all proper procedures, you may be sure. Thank you very much.
Anybody else like to address the board on something that's not on the agenda?